Welcome back. DAV is making a real difference in the lives of our veterans here in Central Florida, ensuring that they and their families have access to a full range of benefits that can enhance the quality of life. I'm joined by former DAV National Commander and Florida DAV State Commander, Dennis Joyner, one such veteran who has experienced firsthand the positive impact of these services. Dennis, welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Fred. Good to see you.
Dennis, when you served in the military, were you drafted or did you enlist?
No, I was drafted.
You were drafted? And how old were you when you were drafted?
I was 20 years old, had just gotten married and had a son.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And with your son, when you were shipped out overseas after boot camp and everything, how long was it when you first went in before you were shipped out to go to Vietnam?
It was about 5 months. My son was just born basically a month before I was drafted, and I got drafted in December of '68, and I shipped out to Vietnam in May of '69.
Okay. And, I'm sure it must have been challenging to be shipped out to Vietnam knowing that you had a newborn son.
Quite difficult, very emotional, but that's just the way it was. I mean,
Yeah.
was called on to serve my country, and that was a very, very important thing to me.
Yeah. And if you're comfortable with it, Dennis, do you mind sharing, what happened to you when you were in Vietnam?
Yeah, I served with the 9th Infantry Division. It was a recon unit. We were in the Mekong Delta. And we were out in the jungle, and I ended up tripping a booby trap 105 round. It instantly blew off both of my legs and my left arm. I never lost consciousness, and I don't remember the explosion, the noise. I don't remember flying up in the air. I do remember falling back down. I hit the ground and I could look down. I could actually see, what had happened, and saw the legs gone. Not much. My right leg was kind of caught, in a tree that had split, and I just, my sergeant got to me first, and I just started, screaming, let me die, and Ed, reached down, he slapped me across the face, and he said that, Joyner, you have a lot to live for. You have a wife and a son back home, waiting for you, and you're laying here wanting to die. And, he put his hand back up to slap me again, and it might sound like, why is he slapping you? But it basically was to keep me from going into shock.
Correct.
And, I just think at that point in time, God put into my mind that there was a different purpose for my life, and I wasn't going to lay there on the battlefield in Vietnam and give up on that life. And my medic got there, and between them, there was a helicopter, a medevac helicopter in the area somewhere. Now, of course, I've been told these things.
Sure.
And they brought it in. It was deep in the jungle. They had to hover it half over a canal, and they put me in one of those canvas sacks, basically, as a stretcher, and lifted me in and into the Army Field Hospital. I went back to Valley Forge Army Hospital. It took 2 weeks to get me back, and I was there for till that was in June 26th is when I got hit, and on December 1st, believe it or not, after a total of 5 surgeries. I was released and from the hospital and discharged from the Army December 20th of '69.
Well, thank you for your service, and thank you. And it's nothing to be proud of in this particular aspect, me saying it to you, but the fact that what you've given of yourself and still do what you do for the DAV, the organization. And how has the DAV been influential, and how did they empower you once you retired medically? How did they impact your life and your family's life?
Even say right before I retired, when I was at Valley Forge Army Hospital, the DAV was the first organization that came by my bed. They gave Vietnam disabled vets at that time a free 1-year membership to join the organization, and they were just there for me right off the bat. When I went back home from the Pittsburgh area, there was an article in a newspaper about what had happened, because I had played sports in high school and that, and so I was not well known, but known a little bit. And one day I had a knock on my door, and it was my mailman, and we lived out in the country. I'm like, I must have a package. Opened the door, and here my mailman was a life member of the DAV. And he said, I read about you in the paper, and I'd like to invite you to come to a DAV meeting, and I'll come by and pick you up. And he threw my wheelchair in his car. That was my first actual activity, going to the DAV. And the DAV, whenever I've had issues, in dealing with my VA claim, mine was pretty cut and dry, obviously. But, they were always there if I had questions. Of recent time, my wife and I both have been very active in the enactment of the caregiver bill for severely disabled veterans. That the VA provides different services as well as a stipend for them, and we did a lot of lobbying in Congress for that. And but I got active in the DAV, and it's just the service that they provide to our fellow veterans, and and I think it was just from the beginning, like this is an organization I really am interested in, is because even though this happened to me, and the good Lord gave me the strength to deal with it, and it's been over 55 years now.
Wow.
And I get the opportunity to go out and help disabled veterans, especially here in the Orlando area, providing different VA services, volunteer services at Lake Nona or Lake Baldwin and that. And it's just, they've given me an opportunity to give back.
Right. That's important.
It is. And, it's, it's in here, Fred.
Absolutely.
It's in our heart.
Absolutely.
And,
we are who we are.
Yeah. And we've known each other a lot of years, and we both believe so strongly in that. And it's just a great organization. I've continued doing things with them for years, serving on committees, et cetera. And I've had so many people over the years, Fred, that have said to me, I started feeling sorry for my situation. I hurt my knee, or my ankle broke or something, and all of a sudden, somehow I saw you, or I started thinking of you, and it just didn't seem like it was that bad. And I just feel that if just my presence and being active and happy and trying to smile and being there, living life normally, like I always used to say, you walk, I roll, but it's still the same life.
Yeah.
And I can only, thank God for giving me the peace and strength to be out there. And if I'm helping people that I don't even know I'm helping, in addition to the ones that, I do talk to, it's a great feeling, for me. And it's what probably has kept me going. And plus, I also had the strength to pick the pieces up and go back to college and work for 30 years. So life is good. It's what we make of it.
You're absolutely right. And I appreciate the fact of how you picked up the pieces and stayed with the DAV and became the national commander. Mm-hmm. And again, I want to thank you, Dennis, for your service to our nation. Sure. And thank you again for being my friend and also letting us do this interview of you in the DAV. I know it wasn't easy sharing your story, but I appreciate you doing that because a lot of people need to know the sacrifices that we go through.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fred. I appreciate it. Great
You're
knowing
very
you.
welcome. Dennis' story is a powerful example of how the DAV plays a vital role in connecting veterans with essential services that enhance their quality of life. It is good to know that there are organizations like the DAV that are committed to ensuring that veterans lead high-quality lives by ensuring that they and their families are taking full advantage of the benefits that are available to them. If you'd like to learn more information on anything we discussed today, as well as how to connect with the DAV, go to www.ocfl.net/veterans. That's where you'll be able to find the links and contact information you need. I hope you'll join us again for Operation Outreach as we will continue to highlight the many programs and services available to military veterans in Central Florida. Until then, I'm Fred Robinson. Take care and thanks for watching.